Welcome back everyone, I'm Craven and this is Trails the Third. Just like with the end of the Silver Road, we are now at the end of the Golden Road, and we decided, well I decided, that we'll wait with walking through the door until this one, just because I was thinking we might get a story bit before returning to the garden to release the 2 sealing stones, which I'm guessing, because I have no idea if I'm for sure, is that it could be Scheherazade and Olivier, but we'll have to see. Because you can also say like Golden is like the sun and Estelle is always our sunshine, so she could be it as well. But we'll have to see. Curious though. Kevin! Huh, looks like they're okay. Of course they were under my protection. Phew, yep, you're the real deal, alright. Thank Adios. I was worried as hell about you, you know? I could say the same to you. Still, it looks like those really must have been grimoires then. Sure does. Grimoires? Is that the name of those fiends we encountered? You got it. It's a type of fiend mentioned in the Testaments. Although, maybe fiend isn't the best word. They're said to be what souls eventually turn into after being thrown into Gehenna. People's souls turn into those? It's not a very pleasant thought. As I'm sure you know, the church teaches that the souls of the sinners end up in the fiery depths of Gehenna. And there, they are tormented by the ceaseless flames, slowly losing their own sense of self over time. Till finally, they're said to end up as nothing more than a chaotic lump of spirit, known as a grimoire. I'm getting goosebumps just picturing it. And that's what those shape-shifting creatures we encountered were? Yes. The mirrors and the cannons that appear with them are all cursed items that have the same origin. How they did it? I don't know, but it seems our enemies have quite literally opened the gates of Gehenna. That is quite a fitting metaphor. That sounds like... the Gralsritter? Yes, the Gralsritter. You again. Well, looks like we decided to show their ugly mug. Did that lord of yours send you to come check up on us? Well, that is one of the roles I have been assigned, albeit not the only one. I am impressed by how quickly you've progressed, even if it was with a significant amount of Hermit's guidance. The Hermit? Who's that? Is that the ghost we keep running into? I can't think of anyone else. She's been helping us in various ways since we arrived here, and yet we still have no idea who she is. Indeed, I speak of her. She's a spirit that was left behind in Phantasma, as well as the master of the Hollow Garden. Of course, thanks to my lord taking most of her power, she can do little other than struggle as your guide. As usual, your cryptic nonsense just goes right over my head. But hey, if she's your enemy, that makes her our ally, right? I'll leave that for you to find out. Her position is hardly your concern at this time. I have a message for you from our lord. Your next destination is the Path of Beasts. Devour the new offerings presented to you and display your seal once more. Then shall the flames of Gehenna burn ever fiercer and my kingdom draw closer to its true completion. What? What's that supposed to mean? My lord says that you may choose to interpret the message however you see fit. My task was simply to relay it to you. Kevin? Oh, sorry, I just couldn't help but laugh. Tell me, what sad classes did you and that joke of a boss you got take to get your certification in how to be a big bad? Nice start trying to confuse us by spewing that cryptic bullshit too. Bet you thought we'd keep ourselves up all night trying to figure that gem out. I mean, The overblown theatrics make it a bit too obvious that it's fake. Don't you think? Well, what about done with us? If you are, how about you get lost? We've got better things to do with our time than listen to nonsensical riddles from a guy who can't even bother to show his face. I see you're quite fond of the gift granted to you by my lord. Does it bring back memories? Gift? Kevin. You think you can get away? Oh, fear not. We will encounter one another again before long. I am, after all, Phathesma's foremost guardian. And with that, I bid you farewell. So, what's the Gralsritter you mentioned? Yeah, he's the picture of his lord, right down to taunting us as he leaves. Too bad for him that it doesn't take a genius to work out that they're both bluffing. Your next destination is the Path of Beasts. Devour the new offerings presented to you and display your zeal once more. Then shall the flames of Gehenna burn ever fiercer and my kingdom draw closer to its true completion. His words sound as though they have some specific meaning to me, but they could have taken in a number of ways at face value. We could try to unravel said meaning, but that may hinder our progress more than help in the long run. Yeah, cause no matter how you put it, we need to go down the path all the way to the end, no matter what kind of cryptic messages they send us. I think that's what Kevin is saying here. My thoughts exactly. Anyway, what's definitely not going to hinder us is going back to base and seeing who's in the 2 sealing stones we picked up. If we activate the monument over there, we'll be able to come right back here to continue exploring later too. Ah, thank goodness, it's right there, huh? I wonder who's going to be inside these. Me too. 2 suggestions, I just still don't know which one it will be. End of chapter 3. Nah, let's go straight into it. Kevin Graham of the 543rd class of trainees. In the name of the goddess above, I hereby appoint you a squire of the Septian Church. I humbly accept my appointment. I pledge to offer my soul to the goddess above, and both body and blood to her church on earth. Very good. It is exceedingly rare for one of your age to be appointed to this position. I can only assume your aptitudes and training achievements warranted it. May you strive to be a worthy guardian of the goddess's sacraments as her loyal and devoted servant. Well, if it isn't Kevin. I see you managed to avoid having your promotion rejected by the top brass. Splendid, splendid. Instructor, I really can't thank you enough for all you've done for me. I never dreamt I would have an actual dominion supervising my training. How sweet of you to say. Hard to believe you were the same boy who waltzed up before the congregation for the sacraments, shouting, "Make me a knight, please!" Well, I appreciate if you would chuck that memory back into the furthest reaches of your mind. Thank you. Oh, but how could I? Had I missed your groveling, I would have never taken an interest in you in the first place. And not in a million years would I have thought you were related to Rufina. You could have asked her to take you on as her pupil before resorting to such drastic measures, you silly boy. Well, I had my reasons, let's leave it at that. Maybe he wanted to do it on his own? Not rely on family to get ahead? If that's true, that is a noble strive. Very well. It doesn't matter at this point anyway. Congratulations, you're now a dog of the church, just like the rest of us. It's good to have you on board. Thank you. I'm not sure that's the most reassuring metaphor to be using on new recruits though. You might scare some of them right off. Please, you're not trying to position yourself as some sweet doe-eyed thing, are you? Besides, I think it's a perfectly apt description for us. We go around sniffing out sacraments wherever they may be. tearing through the throats of the heretical fools who are enarmored with them all the while. Can you spot the difference? Ah, come on, instructor. I'm used to you at this point, but so I don't really care if you call me a dog. But you care if I call you beloved Rufina one, don't you? Not to worry, Kevin. I can read between the lines well enough. Well, did I guess right? I owe her a lot, but I wouldn't call her my beloved. She's just like a big sister to me, that's all. You're making it sound like Like you what exactly? Rufina, I thought you were in Remiferia on a mission. I was, but I tried to finish as quickly as possible so I could go back for your appointed ceremony. I'm so proud of you, Kevin. It's amazing just how fast you've grown. Now you're a full-fledged adult like me. Wow. Thanks for going out of your way to come here. I'm not sure I deserve to be called an adult yet, though. I've got a whole lot of work ahead of me, if I want to be half the knight the two of you are. Oh my, how modest of you. By the way, how you let Ries know about all of this yet? Not yet. I'm planning to write to her tonight. She's been real mad ever since I decided to come to Artheria, though. Hopefully, this will cheer her up a bit. There's not much else I can do to make up with her sorts of going home. Perhaps we should do that together at some point if we can find the time. Oh, and while I have the chance, thank you so much for looking after him all this time, Ein. You've given up so much of your free time, and I really do appreciate it. Ah, think nothing of it. It's proved quite a fun way to kill time. He has a fair amount of potential in combat arts and thaumaturgy too. It's a shame all his skills are on the practical things side of things. However, his academic side is less than stellar. I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach that may be the case. Alright, I gotta get going. I have to pick up some my new room key and medal for the general affairs guys. Sorry, but I'll talk to you later. Oh. What's this? You look so concerned. Feeling guilty because he followed you in such a dangerous line of work? Oh, not at all. That was completely up to him and him alone. I would never try to dictate his life choices. It's just that... Well, I think he'll make a fine knight, personally. He checks all the boxes. He got the potential, he got the determination. All in all, I can see why you're so proud of him. And call it a hunch, but I wouldn't be too surprised if a stigma manifested in him, just like it has in you. Well, I'm impressed. I didn't think you could sense that of others if you didn't possess one yourself. Yet, one more reason to feel frustrated that you aren't the Dominion. I know we're friends, but there's no need for all that flattery. My combat and thaumaturgy abilities are average at best. I wouldn't be cut out for the job at all. I'm grateful enough to have been promoted from squire to knight. That's the upper limit for someone with my lack of potential. If only you saw things the way I do. Someone with average at best abilities couldn't have handled your Ouroboros case half as well as you did. Fighting off a man of death reported strength to a swift enough conclusion will be a pretty feather in anyone's cap. Oh, it was just my luck that we both came to an understanding. As far as Kevin goes, he wouldn't need to rely on luck. His potential for growth extends further than I'll ever be able to go. But he has one weakness holding him back. He cares too much? Yeah. I feared it was gonna be something like that. That boy is just far too kind. So kind, in fact, that I can see him driving himself into a corner because of it one day. But that's just who he is. What do they want to do? Break him? Make him become a soulless knight, which basically is the Gralsritter, the one we are facing here in Phantasma? Nah. Let's hope they haven't done that. Alright, who is it gonna be? We'll have one right, two right, or neither. I do hope Shira is gonna be one of them. That looks like... Alright. Olivier? I got him, but Zin? That was always a possibility, of course. Alright, we got one of them. Zin? Prince Olivert? No, this is a surprise. Don't think this is a dream, at least. Indeed not, it is not. I will be overjoyed to share a sweet date with Shira in my dreams. One with a fine drinking companion, not so much. Yep, this is real, alright. Still, doesn't Shira count as a drinking companion too? In a way, it's fine to be drunk with the joy of her company, but it's very much the opposite to be drunk with alcohol involved. That's one of the most important lessons I learned during my stay in Liberl. Truer words have never been spoken. But alright, enough playing around. You guys mind filling us in just what kind of situation we've gotten ourselves into? We shall make with the embraces and tearful greetings afterwards. Honestly, you two really are something else. You'd think you'd be a little shaken finding yourself at somewhere as unnatural as this out of nowhere. Nope, they're warriors, they can handle this. Oh, that's quite the pickle. I appreciate that it may be hard to believe, but that's the situation we find ourselves in at this present time. If we're trying to find the other way out, we'll need to accept that. Oh Mueller, my sweet rose-kissed muse, ever pure and free of thorns. You misunderstand me. I have long accepted our current predicament as reality. Then why do you look so deep in thought? Need you ask? Perhaps my life's toughest decision lies ahead of me. Before me I find Joshua, Princess Claudia, Tita and Josette. And there's Julia and even a new face, Ries. Just whom shall I gather into my arms like a warm blanket and exchange sweet nothings in celebration first? Only you. Joshua? You were pulling my leg when you said this guy was an Arabonian prince, right? As hard as it is to believe, he is. Putting my deeply earnest dilemma aside for the time being, it sounds as though you've been making some headway in unraveling the mysteries behind this place. Naturally, I would be more than honored to help with that. But first, you've got a few questions you need to ask, right? I know, I sure do. I should have known you would be thinking along the same lines. You're exactly right. Fine by me, but what do you want to ask? Do you think you figured something out? That's what I want to find out. First, I want to ask about that ghost you've encountered in here. Ask away. If I remember correctly, the first time you met her was on the balcony in Grancel Castle, yes? Indeed, it was. She gave us the key that allowed us to eventually find and rescue you. That was the first time she appeared to us as a ghost, but I don't believe it was the first time she directly communicated with you, was it, Father? Don't think so, anyway. When Ries and I first arrived here, we heard a strange voice talking to us. We didn't have a clue who it belonged to at the time, but I think that was probably her too. As do I. So, at first she existed here only as a voice, but she gradually started showing up with her body too? I know that's a weird way to put it, but if it's true, it backs up what the man in black said last time we saw him. Yeah, he said the Lord of Phantasma had stolen most of her power, right? He kept referring to her as the Hermit and Master of the Hollow Garden too. Plus the inscription on the monument behind us has the Hermit Garden written on it. I think all of us here can connect the dots just fine. Agreed. It's reasonable to conclude that this very garden is connected to her in some way. And now that they are stating it like this, could it be that the energy we see escaping every time we defeat enemies, bosses or anything here, that energy is not going to the Lord of Phantasma, but to this ethereal being, empowering her, giving her her power back? And then the question is that a good thing or not? I think at this time we know too little to make that distinction, but we should be cautious. It could go, literally could go anyway, either way. That's true. Yep, makes sense to me. It also explains why this place is kinda comfy compared to the other weird fiend-infested places in Phantasma. Feels like we're getting closer to the truth with every new revelation. By the sound of it, she's been in Phantasma for a while now. Possibly since the beginning. What if she is, that... I still don't know for sure, Claudette von Oslas? No, because she definitely went to Liberl back in the day. She was like the founder of the kingdom, wasn't she? So she couldn't be it. But it has to be someone important, right? If she was in here from the beginning. On the other hand, I still think the way she looks might be because she's a spirit of someone of Ries or maybe Anne, Kevin's memory. Not a true form, but a way she's willing to represent herself to us. Maybe to motivate us. But we'll see. But then she had her power stolen by the Lord of Phantasma and ended up without a body. Since then, she's been trying to help us to the best of her abilities and guide us forward. Well, if we assume that all that to be true, maybe the monuments scattered through are connected to her somehow too. They seem to exist for the same purpose, guiding us forward. I think there's one more thing in our possession that's connected to her as well. That cube, Kevin? You think so? Unfortunately, your guess is as good as mine on exactly what that cube is. That being said, I think the odds of it being connected to her somehow are as high as everything else on the list so far. Well, what do you think? Honestly, I'm impressed. You've done a remarkable job of making sense of a situation when you've only just arrived. Still, if you assume all to be true, then there's something else we should be doing as we keep moving forward. Helping to restore her power, I assume? And that way we should be able to ask her what else she knows about the land we're in. Got it in one. I get this impression that if we don't, we won't stand a chance against those two. We'll find ourselves up against a wall at some point. You may be well right. Well, leaving her aside for the time being, I do have one final thing I'd like to ask. What else is there to cover? It concerns that Lord of Phantasma you keep mentioning, actually. Put simply, you wouldn't believe to have any idea as to who they are, would you, Kevin? Why me? Well, from my perspective, they're awfully fixated on you. They seem to know about Ries' deceased sister as well. Then there's the fact that they're even able to summon devils from the church text. It all seems to be pointing to you two, and you in particular. I can see what you'd ask, I guess. Unfortunately for you though, I got nothing. I'm still thinking it is someone from his past. Maybe not the actual person, but a representation of it. Which technically could be Rufina, right? But we'll see. Just like Lowy is the Gralsritter. Again, assumption. If anything, I'd say they seem to be an enemy of the Gralsritter as a whole rather than just me. I suppose that's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if an organization like that had more than their fair share of enemies. No offense, of course. I have plenty of enemies myself. Try not to sound like it's something worth boasting about. Anyway, even if we connected some dots, we'll have to save the mystery behind who our enemies are for another day. Maybe we can get some more information out of them the next time we see them, but until then, we don't have enough to work with. Right, next time one of them shows up, we'll have to see what we can force out of them. So, that about wrap things up for now? If so, we should probably get ready to head out again. We're on the plane number 4. If the previous plane are anything to go by, it's gonna be tough. Kevin? What's up? Did you have something else you wanted to add? No. It's just that I'm not feeling very well, so I'm going to sit the next plane out. What? I'm sorry for the trouble, everyone, but please, look out for him on my behalf. He shouldn't cause you too much trouble, but as I'm sure you know, he can be a little careless at times. Ries? Wait a sec. Are you not gonna go after her? Sorry, I'll be back in a minute. Ries, wait a sec. What's with you all of a sudden? Oh, I know. Are you feeling left out because I'm the only one you know here and everyone else you don't? Sorry, Ries, probably it wasn't fun to sit through the whole happy reunion deal over and over. You can't be. You should have noticed earlier, really. I've been pretty insensitive, but... When are you going to stop acting? It's true that I felt a little left out for a while. You've clearly gone through so much together, and it's made you that much more fond of each other in the days since. Yeah, we had some amazing times. Hard to come out the other end of the stuff we did without growing closer through it all. Watching you all, how could I not have felt lonely? How could I not have felt jealous? You've been avoiding me for the past 5 years, Kevin. The thought that you'd grown close to so many others while going out of your way to keep me out of arm's reach, well, it did make me sad. You know I didn't mean it like that, Ries. But at the same time, I was still happy you did. I knew how badly what happened to Rufina had hurt you, how you were still blaming yourself for it. I knew how you were driving yourself into a corner over it, and you were taking on nothing but dirty jobs as if you were trying to punish yourself. And I couldn't confirm it myself for sure, but I just knew the rumors that you were desperate to burn yourself out through them were true. So that's the reason. That's why, as lonely as I felt when you were off making new friends without me, I was really, really happy more than anything else. Ries, you do know that... Except, it turns out that you haven't made any new friends at all. You're pulling the same exact thing you pulled with me on them. Every single one at arm's length. They can't get close to you. You won't get close to them. On the surface, you're a cheerful person having fun with everyone, but on the inside, you're as cold as can be. All you're doing is manipulating your own emotions so people think you're someone you're not. After watching you ever since we were reunited, that became plain as day to me. Man, I'm happy you're worried about me, but you've totally got the wrong idea with this one. Sorry, I'm good at a lot of things, but pretending to be someone I'm not is not one of them. Well, let's run that by a few events. Especially the one where he turned Wiseman in a pillar of salt. There was no emotion there whatsoever. There's a very crude person, and that's not the person we're seeing here. When I'm happy, you'll know about it. And when I'm mad, well, I think you know I'm not so good at hiding that either. I'm the same transparent guy as I always was. Oh, I didn't say you weren't easy to read. For me at least. After all, I know how genuinely shaken you were by the Lord of Phantasma's message. Their words, and the words of that Gralsritter, always came across as cryptic, but not to you. Deep down, you know what they're talking about. You just constantly keep it from the rest of us and try to keep us in the dark. No. Maybe you even managed to pull the wool over your own eyes too. Ah, come on now. You can't seriously... Devour the new offerings presented to you and display your seal once more. You know exactly what that means, don't you? Go on. You know what? Maybe you should sit things out for a bit. You're clearly really tired. Nope, she's hitting a nerve. That's the thing. Cause with presenting the seal once again, I think they're talking about that stigma we just heard about. And that's why this chapter is called The Dark Stigma. It's probably gonna show us what that means to Kevin. I think that's what it's going on here. What? I get that you're as angry as you are upset with me, but I think it's starting to make you jump to some really out there conclusions. And being tired out's only going to make it worse. Can you see how negative your line of thinking is? You can't seriously believe all this is actually true. I'm not saying I don't deserve all the anger. I totally do. I genuinely was busy, but at the same time, I wasn't sure how to face you if we did end up meeting either. Still, we're gonna be working together from now on, so... enough. Everything you're saying is just meaningless. Maybe the others don't realize that, but how dare you think I, of all people, would fall for it? I realize I'm turning my back on my duties as a squire by doing this, but I can't bear to be near you any longer. I can't stand to see the Kevin I thought I knew so empty. So... yeah, she really does love him. Maybe not as a love interest, but definitely as a sister. An actual sister, not in the church-related sister. Kevin? Oh, hey. I'm sorry you had to see that. Oh, don't worry about it. I want to know something, Joshua. You've looked into me a fair bit since I first stepped onto the scene, right? I have. I know that you're really called the Heretic Hunter. I know that you're one of the 12 dominions that lead the Gralsritter. And I know you undertake the execution of sinners the church deems most unforgivable, almost single-handedly. I figured you'd know your stuff. Wouldn't want any guys whose background you hadn't thoroughly vetted being close to your girlfriend for long, huh? I can't deny it. Still, the only people you harm are those sinners, never anyone else. So I decided that for the time being at least, you weren't a threat to her or anyone else. I see. Wiseman was your work too, wasn't it? Oh, Joshua got his number definitely. And he's right. Sure was. My job was to get rid of him, that's it. Everything I did with you guys leading up to that point was to get myself into a position to get it done without him catching on. That includes helping all of you out, naturally. Yeah, I know. You must have been aware of the possibility that Estelle would be taken on board the Glorious too. You thought allowing it to happen would help you in the long run, so you kept quiet about it. Wow. Now, that one I'm surprised you pieced together. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I figured there was a chance she might get abducted, but I did exactly nothing to stop it. All I cared about was finding out what Wiseman and you were up to. And where you were, for that matter. Couldn't you use a better bait for that than her? I thought so. And yet, all of that doesn't change how I am more grateful than words can express. Why is that? Because if you hadn't helped me back then, I would still be Wiseman's puppet. I would be broken with my own hands, what I value most in the whole world. That's a debt I'll never be able to fully repay. Ah, sweet ideals. Now you're just being cute. I know you're smart enough to realize that not all why I threw you a bone, right? I just wanted him off his guard enough to create the opening I needed. Helping you was the perfect way to do that. That's what all there was to it. And again, that doesn't change how grateful I am to you. Because Joshua really does see that it was a way to open up things, but it did help him in the end. Knowing why you did it doesn't erase the gratitude I feel, not in the slightest. It really is just as well you ended up quitting Ouroboros. You'd suck high heaven if you were an enforcer now. Honestly, well, you're totally right. If Ries is sitting on the sidelines for now, let me help you in her place. I might not be capable of helping you as much as she is, but I should be able to back you up. Hey, you don't need to feel indebted to me, you know? Well, I'll take what I can get. No doubt you're worried sick about Estelle too, so there's your gold star reason for helping out beside me. So thanks. I'm glad you got my back. Right back at ya. Because that is true, even though the reasons are different, they know they can trust each other to have each other's back. And that's a good thing. Okay, so Ries is out of the picture, meaning we still have 6 people to go. So are we getting more people than we've ever had in our party? Because we got Charizard, we got Estelle. Who else do we have that I am forgetting? Am I forgetting someone? No, that would fit. If we had Estelle and Charizard, we would have a complete 12 party. And then if we get 4 more, that could be other people connected to our group that we haven't played with, right? Oh, what if Cassius becomes one of the party members? I would so love that. Who else could be joining us then? Well, we still have the 2 Capua brothers that might be able to show up because they are actually fighters people we fought against, so yeah. Oh well. Not think about it too much right now. So let's see. Who do you want to go in the party? Well, Ries is definitely our healer. So I want to play a bit with Zin, our main man, and let's just pick Tita as our favorite character at the moment. Yes, okay, let's look all over the place, talk to everyone, and then I think we're gonna try to move to the next plane just to open it up. Because we got a few people now in our party that we can open up doors, but I want to save that to the next episode, knowing how long it could potentially be if we open one of those doors. So, because if we do it now, we'll definitely go over an hour again. Not that that's a bad thing, but I want to prevent it and get it localized, because if it's a very big story, I don't want to have an episode of 2 hours long, if that's the case. Which people have warned me about that is a possibility. It's disturbing to think that we are literally fighting fiends taken from the church's text. Then again, our enemy is capable of making a replica of an entire city. I suppose summoning mirrors and tanks are child's play to them. If you put it like that, definitely. How have you been ever since we last met, Your Highness? Words of your popularity in the Arbonian high society has been reaching us over in Liberl too. Well, I'm doing a good enough job of convincing them. I'm little more than an elegant yet harmless prince at this point. Still, spending so much of my time pretending to be someone I'm not can be terribly exhausting. So I'm biding my time and waiting for the perfect chance to cast it all aside and reveal my true form to the world. Then I shall be known as Olivier, the Gospeler of Love. That's never gonna happen. Mueller won't allow it. Ah, you moron. Gospeler of Love? That's what you're going with? Well, who else think he's going to be even more of a menace to society than the Black Ormond Gospels ever were? It's reassuring to see how little he's changed at heart, though. Well, it is Olivier we're talking about. It seems more and more like we were all drawn in here at the same time, which is a relief in some ways. If that pitiful thing had been left in the outside world without me to watch it, I shudder to think what could have happened. Well, I'd come to his defense, but no, I can't blame you. Olivier left to his own devices is a terrible, risky ideal. Right, and these are all the issues of the Liberl news for some reason. Already went through them just to read up. Same as with the Carnelia books on the other branching path, which we're gonna check now, see if there's anyone there. Just to make sure, nothing else. And besides, if we see a shiny dot, we know there are new books, and we like new books. It's Carnelia. Ah, you got something new. There are a number of interesting books here. Kitty Talk for Dummies, The Herb Woodpecker, Hertz Adventures 1, Hertz Adventures 2, and the 31 Cypress Trees. I will read those in between the episodes. If you want to keep lying to yourself, Kevin, then go right ahead. If that what makes you happy, I won't stop you. But as long as you keep doing so, I don't want to talk to you. I totally agree with Ries. It's one thing to pretend people to who you actually are, but you can't cheat family. Family knows everything about you. You can't pull the wool over their eyes. Honestly, I have no idea what you said to her, but you're obviously the one who's in the wrong here. I hope you have a good long think about what you did wrong while you're out there. Yes, ma'am. How can anyone not like Josette? Come on. Yeah, she's a bit of a tomboy and a little bit obsessed with Joshua, but is that necessarily a bad thing? I think those were everyone, but I'm just gonna be able to make sure. Regain RCP. Yes. Beautiful. Let's check the monument here, or do we go to the backhand? Because we didn't actually see it being activated, so I'm hoping we do get to be able to teleport there. There's nothing. Yes, just as before, the new people will have the latest armor on them. That's good. Okay, defense 3, HP 3. That's the same. Same as we've seen before. Action 3, which we were very thrown back by because we need it for everyone. I think the cost 2 will be more important even, because when you saw those loading times for the magic, this is way too long if you want people to actually use magic, so definitely need to put that in consideration. Yeah, lots of interesting things. Have a quick look at our Zin. Let's give you a word bracelet just because we... No, you don't need an attack. That would just make no sense. Put a seal. Might as well give you a Depto thing until we know what we're up against. Really? You're empty on 2 squares. Is that because they can't figure out what to give you? 4 lines. Yeah, definitely something that you don't want the magic user to have. He doesn't need it. I don't think we have a... Do we? No, I don't think we have. I don't think we have a backup strike. Because he's definitely gonna need a strike. Is it because of the mute thing? It's because of the mute thing, isn't it? Only one status exchanger. We did find a way around it last time, didn't we? How? We'll see. I definitely want a strike instead of a mute thing. Well, we could technically put it on Petrify, but I don't know. HP 3, it's nice, but does he actually need it with this almost 20,000 HP? Yeah, we really need to put him more on the regular strikers build, but we'll do that between the episodes just to figure it out. But what did we do with on the Trail to Second Chapter to fill his both Earth slots and still having him give a strike? Was there an Earth course that we don't have yet because we're not far enough in? Maybe. Alright, let's have a look-see at the third plane. Shall we move a little bit further ahead? And here's the entrance to the next plane. I doubt the pattern will change up now, so yeah. We won't know what kind of place that's going to be until we step inside though. Or what kind of scary fiends will be there. Let's make use, we're good to go before we keep going. Yeah, there's probably going to be an attack as soon as we reach there. Found entrance exam results. We needed that for a door, didn't we? And for 33 of those years, I hated that damn place. He snapped between chewing cuts of lamb. After swallowing, he added, "Who's going to run it? I sure ain't, and you're no carpenter." Alright, so there is going to be a scene where we get in there. Probably not a story part, but there's definitely going to be something to show us what we need to do in that new region. So I think I'm going to leave it here, and next time we probably won't go through it just yet, because I think we can now open the door with Chloe and the entrance exams. And we have Zin in the arena. And there might be one or two others we might be able to do. It's a nice little check. That is a Git. That is Sarah. Yeah, the darling of pure white radiance and proof of her scholarship. I think it's Chloe. Don't know for sure, but there's one way to figure that one out. And we know the moons are the bigger story part, right? Yeah, okay, can you please work with me? Star 4, bring me the man who talked with his fists, and then the door shall open. Shorter story, still probably 45 minutes. Might be Zin. He talks with his fists more than anyone else. Girl who lost a fish. And bring me the fist of steel, which has the world cannot move. That's definitely Zin. So maybe 2 doors with Zin. So those 3. Well, maybe 2. I don't think we can do a moon and a star one in one episode. That would be way too much story to go by. I think we're gonna go for the Sun Door 3 first, because we know that is Zin, and it's probably gonna be opening up a little bit of a story and the arena, which might be fun to do. And if there's plenty of time, we'll open up plane number 4, depending on how long it takes for us to get through that Sun Door 3, because this one, for me at least, pretty difficult. So that's what we're gonna do there and then. So that's for the next episode. Until then, I wish you all a great night, morning, day, wherever you are. And if you're still here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and make sure to be back next time as we open up a few doors. Bye bye.